Good morning, guys. We're in the greenhouse today. We're not outside because it's actually still winter time. You can see outside, there's still snow on the ground. But inside the greenhouse, it's, what does it say? About 72 degrees. This is pretty awesome. I have the door open, I have the window open. But why we're in here today, a lot of people are starting seeds now. And so we are making our own seed starting mix. And I'm just going to give you my recipe for it. There's a lot of different recipes out there, but this is how I do it. And so if you want to go by my method, that's great. Otherwise, share with maybe us a different recipe that you might have. So seed starting mix when you buy it in the store is generally just peat moss and vermiculite. And there's no fertilizers or compost in seed starting mix, because if that's actually in there, you probably burn your seedlings. Seeds have like a germination casing on the outside of the seed that has all the nutrients in it that the seed needs to germinate. And so you generally aren't going to fertilize any of your seedlings until they have their first set of true leaves. So in our seed starting mix, which I have in this bucket here on the planting counter, it's 4 parts peat moss to 1 part vermiculite. And whatever you're using to measure, doesn't matter. I sometimes use my scoop. It's just 4-to-1 ratio of peat moss and vermiculite. And then water it good, stir it up, keep watering it. And I keep watering it several times. Even if I'm not planting anything right away, I will actually water it when I'm out here watering other stuff, just to kind of keep the moisture in it. Because you do want it to be slightly damp when you plant your seeds. Now, the only difference between this and your potting mix, which we're going to use when we pot up some of our seedlings, I actually have some I'm going to be potting up today. So the difference between potting mix and this seed starting mix is that I'm going to add a couple of scoops of compost and probably a good sized scoop like this of some kind of organic granulated fertilizer. So that is what I use for my seed starting mix, and I hope that you guys learned something. Let's do a quick shot of what's going on here in the greenhouse. It's pretty awesome. And the pepper plants that I overwintered, some of them, let me see if I can find it. They're getting blossoms. So obviously I can't put these outside. So if these blossoms actually open, I'm going to hand fertilize or hand pollinate. And then everything else is doing pretty good. These are all petunias. These tiny little cell packs. Mostly I have only peppers and flowers planted, and onions. These are onions. Last year's geraniums that I had pulled out of the ground, I shook the dirt off them, and I just let them dry out in a cardboard box in my basement. So, and then only about 2 weeks ago I potted them up, and look at them. They're coming back. It's pretty cool. Lots of herbs. Lots of different varieties of basil this year. Lemongrass, leeks, more basil. Lots and lots of peppers. And you can see these peppers now, these are getting their first set of true leaves. So this is where we would want to start to fertilize this tray. And so I actually did that last night. I fertilized it with a diluted liquid fertilizer, diluted in water, and I put it in the bottom of the tray here. Lots of onions, more peppers that we overwintered, and a lot of my, they're looking a little sick because they want to get in the ground, but this is all stuff that I saved from last year's flower beds and stuff. So a lot of cuttings that I took, a lot of ivies and stuff like that, and then 1 geranium that I overwintered. So we'll be planting tomatoes. I do have an early set of cabbage going, but we'll be planting this weekend probably. I think it's the 17th of March today, so we'll be planting this weekend. We'll be doing tomatoes and cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and a lot more flowers. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you're learning something new. And remember, the more you know, the more you grow.